What family critique method seemed overly critical until it developed your professional growth mindset? In our household, completing a task was only the beginning of a process that my friends found unnecessarily harsh. The family peer review system. Any significant project, from school assignments to home improvements, had to undergo a formal critique session before being considered complete. The structure was intimidatingly thorough. First, you'd present your work without explanation or defense. Then each family member would provide structured feedback using a specific format: 3 strengths, 3 areas for improvement, and 2 specific suggestions. No vague praise allowed, comments had to be specific and actionable. What made this particularly challenging was the mandatory revision requirement. After receiving feedback, you had to implement improvements and submit your work for a second review. Some projects went through 3 or 4 iterations before being deemed complete, a standard that seemed punishingly perfectionist compared to my friends' more relaxed households. The most difficult aspect was the prohibition against defensiveness. My mother would immediately interrupt with "that sounds like justification" rather than listening if we tried explaining why we'd made certain choices. We were only permitted to ask clarifying questions about the feedback, not defend our original approach. By high school, I developed a reflexive quality control process, reviewing my own work through others' eyes before considering it finished. Teachers noticed my unusual willingness to revise assignments that already met requirements. In my first professional job, during a performance review, my manager remarked, "Most new employees get defensive about criticism. You actually seem to welcome it." That's when I recognized what my parents' seemingly harsh critique sessions had built: not just higher standards, but a fundamental relationship with feedback that most people never develop. While colleagues viewed criticism as personal attacks to be defended against, I'd been trained to see it as valuable data for improvement. The family peer review system that once felt like unnecessary perfectionism had actually been sophisticated training and growth mindset, transforming feedback from something feared into a resource actively sought.